As we blend our presence with our partner, we invite each of you to embrace this moment as another opportunity to experience how it feels when you allow life to serve you. Life loves to serve itself. If you are willing to claim this as being your truth, your life will be showered by a newfound joy and passion. All that your heart desires is not a fairy tale. It is a dynamic, new relationship with life that is initiated by choice. Radiating out from the hearts and minds of the human family is a consistent chorus: why are we here? Why have we forgotten who we are? If it is true that we volunteered to be here, why would we choose such a challenging experience? Let's take a journey back in time to reflect upon these important questions. We remind you that the majority of your existence has been spent in the stars as a non-physical being. What would inspire you to leave a reality that for the most part keeps you connected to your angelic roots? Your soul remembers a time long ago when you resided in a grand and beautiful place that we call the kingdom. A reality that embodied unity consciousness. In the kingdom you never experienced yourself as being separate from life. You had no idea what fear was. It was completely unknown to you. Every moment was another opportunity to bask in the unconditional love radiating from the father and mother aspects of creation. You were surprised and deeply honored when they turned to their children and offered the same abilities they embodied with the freedom to use them in any way you desired. They invited you to become independent creators that embodied an unconditional love for life. You see, the father/mother aspects discovered their love for life could not be contained, even within this blissful, serene environment called the kingdom. Their understanding of love and their joy for sharing their love inspired them to set their creations free, without conditions. They asked each of you souls if you would be willing to become the new explorers of life outside the realms of the kingdom. They offered to share all of their creative abilities with each of you, an aspect of themselves that we call your divine nature. You would become independent, sovereign creators yet interconnected to the source of life. You were offered complete freedom to use these unlimited, creative abilities in any way you desired. Serving a love for life that could not be contained. Now, there are many stories about the origins of life. Our words cannot do justice to the multidimensional experience you encountered when you left the kingdom. Since that time, each of you remember the kingdom with a deep yearning to return home, to the blissful, ecstatic environment that supported you. You have spent eons of time struggling to make peace with this new freedom, fine-tuning, like an artist, your creative abilities. Each of you are living examples of source energy with the ability to create life. The father/mother aspects of creation do not spend one moment feeling concerned about your choices. There was no fine print in their offer. You have complete freedom to create life as you choose it for yourself. You are some of the first cosmic artists. True creators. Like all artists, it takes time to develop your skills and understand your preferences. Many of your early creations you judged to be imperfect, but unlike a human artist, you couldn't simply destroy your work and start over. Your creations or life forms continued to live their life just as they are. For the first time, you experienced feeling responsible for your own creations. You judged your creations to lack the self-awareness that would grant them the kind of freedom you enjoyed. Living inside your creations, a co-creator that begin to distrust their creative abilities is not a pretty sight. Some of you began to feel that the freedom you now embodied was more of a burden than a gift. Your reaction to your new independent nature and your self-judgment about your creative abilities initiated some new feelings. You experienced guilt, resentment, and self-doubt for the first time. Many of you, while living in the stars, were determined to resolve this growing inner conflict. Together, you began to descend your consciousness into realities that gave you a more tangible reflection of your own inner environment. The most tangible reflection is here on Earth. This planet provides the opportunity for your soul to experience itself within its own creations. It takes a truly magnificent and courageous artist to want to acknowledge and validate how their inner reality is shaping their external experience. The desire to become accountable for your own creative abilities. Now, if this experiment were easy, all of creation would have signed up. The history of the human species gives graphic evidence that Earth is a place truly for masters. Now we know the story of humanity is often turned upside down, suggesting it is more like a penal colony for misfits. We often share how much we enjoy kissing your feet. We do so to acknowledge the Creator within you. When we proclaim that your life on earth serves all of life, we want you to feel our love for the divine artists who are learning to set their creations free. You learn this as a human being in all of the roles you play in your personal relationships. The mother or father that sets their children free by trusting that life will support them. The employer that offers complete freedom to its employees to explore their creative abilities, trusting that it will add to the well-being of the company. The citizen that sets its government free by taking responsibility for their own life. The spiritual teacher that sets its students free by trusting in the divine nature within all souls. You, beloved human being, are here on earth at this time to reclaim your divine nature. You are learning to trust in your inherent, creative abilities and impulses while discovering a new joy for life when you stop feeling responsible for your creations. A responsible creator sets their creations free. In your human affairs, you play out these galactic issues in all of your relationships. When you feel responsible for the lives of others, you are willing to process for them what you believe they are unable to do for themselves. You energetically process the unresolved issues of your children to free them of their pain. You do the same with your partners, husbands and wives, friends and co-workers. You have become such experts at processing energies that you believe you can process the unresolved issues for entire communities, countries, and this planet. This very relationship has delayed many of the natural changes Gaia needs to experience in order to move and change her own energetic relationship with life. Now, we understand why some of you would choose to process these generational issues. You share this planet with all of humanity and prefer an environment that is not quaking and shaking. It is only when your body begins to break down that you also begin to question the wisdom behind your intentions. Compounded by the lack of recognition for this type of sacrificial work you perform for others, you begin to honor your purpose for being on earth, to resolve your relationship with your creative abilities in whatever form they take. I love my life. How do the father/mother aspects of creation, the source of life or God/goddess/all that is feel about themselves? We would say it begins with a simple truth. At the core of their existence, all aspects of your origins joyfully proclaim, moment to moment, I love my life. I am that I am and I love my life. We are that we are and we love life. God is and God loves all of life. It is a profound truth and we invite each of you as human beings to openly proclaim this truth by feeling the energy behind these simple words. I love my life. Practice saying this until it begins to feel real. Begin to consciously breathe the energy of loving your life with every breath you take. Again, you choose to be here to live within your creations, your creative abilities. You are not being punished, although from the outside it would appear you are punishing yourself. Many get lost in this experience by waiting for their life to begin to feel better before they are willing to proclaim their love for life. We invite you to begin practicing saying this simple truth to yourself no matter what you are experiencing in your life. Having a bad hair day? I love my life. Wishing a coworker would leave the planet? I love my life. Your bank account has no money in it, I love my life. Let's apply this truth to your life in a practical manner. Devote 30 minutes to choosing to become a conscious observer of how the energy from this statement about yourself can change your life. Begin by repeating I love my life and continue repeating this until you feel or sense a new joy. Start to breathe that joy in with each breath and claim this experience to be valid. Value it like you value your purse or wallet. Now notice during the next 30 minutes how your mind and the voices from your past will attempt to distract your attention. You might notice yourself slowly entering a trance-like state that has you forgetting how good it feels when you do love your life. You might hear thoughts that will encourage you to focus your attention on unfulfilled desires, deadlines, and goals. Just observe this internal swirl of activity and notice that every time you claim love for your life the energy shifts. It brings you back into this moment, freed of your past conditions and open to new adventures. After 30 minutes there is no need to stop. Please continue. Humanity uses the term enlightenment to describe a profound and conscious connection with source energy. Loving yourself in this manner is a potent exercise in re-establishing that connection for yourself. Enlightenment is your willingness to love your life in this moment, just as you are. This acceptance awakens your relationship with your divine nature, and over time you will become a sovereign, independent aspect of Source, God/Goddess/all that is. Life on Earth is a backdrop for you to resolve your galactic dilemma. Owning the joy from declaring that you love your life, no matter where you are in your life, will serve to break the dualistic patterns of thought that keep you from claiming this freedom. The freedom to experience life in way your heart desires. The freedom to experience unity consciousness, not as you knew this to be in the kingdom. Fear did not exist in that reality. Unity consciousness living outside the kingdom is all about making peace with complete opposites. How does a conditioned human being dance with the unlimited nature of the soul? It would appear from the outside that such a dance is impossible. Each and every time your human nature allows your divinity to coexist in its life, you model unity consciousness at work outside the kingdom. You offer a solution to a polarized, galactic dilemma that separates love from fear, light from dark, and right from wrong. All because you allowed the divine presence of life to come to you. I love to share my creations. Declaring that you love your life creates a foundation that now supports expressing that love. Your divine nature loves itself and all of its creations unconditionally. It embraces an understanding that knows love cannot be contained. This is very important. Love cannot be contained. It could not be contained within the environment of the kingdom or anywhere else in all of existence. As a creator, you honor love each and every time you share your creations. As a human being, this simple truth will serve to set your abundance issues free. Now, we already anticipate your next question: how? Let's imagine that many of you have a product or service that you feel inspired to share with the world. Being a lover of life, you begin to feel a new relationship with your product or service. You start to practice conscious breathing. You begin to feel the presence of joy fill your life and overflow into your product or service. With every inhale you are literally breathing life into your body, and with each exhale you are sharing the same life force with your own creations. Your product or service are now infused with the same life that supports your body and begin to develop a life of their own. Your creation is now blessed by your willingness to trust in your creative abilities, but your product or service cannot be contained. Like the mother/father aspects of creation, to honor the nature of love you set them free by sharing them with your world. The product or service is indeed your creation, but your service is to love. They are simply the vehicle for love to be shared. Take a moment to feel the value in this statement. The joy you experience from loving your life opens your imagination to endless possibilities of how to serve or share your new creation. Now, the mind will intervene and suggest that all this joy will lead you down the road to La La Land. Yes, well, welcome home. You have a very important choice to make when it's time to share your creations. Will your conditioned human nature, your old story, try to control how you share, distribute, and market your creations? If so, be prepared to work very hard and receive very little. You can also choose to act on any of the endless possibilities, acknowledge the resistance you feel from the voices from your past, and continue to act while you proclaim, "I love my life." Your comfort zones will be challenged when you make a choice to serve the nature of love. Serving love will invite all of life to also serve you and will require of you to say, yes. Even when your knees are weak and your head is spinning with fear, practice proclaiming, "I love my life." You will find yourself saying yes to a variety of opportunities that expose your creations. If it's about you, seeking recognition and approval from outside yourself, your creations will become polarized, held in place by your own fears and limitations. We want you to understand this point. When you truly open yourself to feeling an authentic love for your life, life will respond. You will be offered opportunities that will challenge how your conditioned human nature will try to contain your creative abilities and expressions. I love receiving an abundance of appreciation. A spiritual foundation that begins with self-love naturally extends into sharing your love for life and is complemented by a willingness to receive love. Your divine nature does not avoid being recognized, it joyfully embraces all reflections of its creative nature. Simply put, it is not shy. Many of you that have been on your own spiritual journey for some time have developed an awareness of the nature of your ego self and know how it feels when your soul nature is at play. We honor your sense of integrity when it comes to not wanting to misrepresent the authentic nature of your soul. You fear that your own ego will use your creations to receive from others what it doesn't have within itself, love. Being on the receiving end of life is a natural part of your creation process. Watch how you use shyness to filter this type of recognition, which tends to do exactly what you fear. It brings your personality/ego to the forefront. You can practice being in receivership in a number of ways. We mentioned in our book, Riding a Stallion, how receiving some form of body work or massage on a regular basis can help you grow comfortable with allowing life to support you. This too is self-love. It will awaken your connection to your divine nature and release your doubts surrounding your creative abilities. The next time someone wants to compliment your work, notice how your energy pulls back, recoils to protect what? Perhaps you are feeling your own judgment about the imperfection of your own creations to avoid the potential rejection. Those of you that have walked away from trying to become perfect are very wise indeed.